Hi there. This is our fifth video of this course. And in our previous video, we have seen how we can bind data in our Vue.js app. We have learned about mostret syntax as well as the directives that can be used to bind data. We have learned about different kinds of directives that are used to bind different kind of data into our Vue app. Now in this video, we'll be looking into event handling in Vue.js. Now before learning about event handling, let's just learn about what events are. So events refer to interactions or occurrences that happen in your application. It means if someone clicked a button or submitted a form or a page gets loaded or someone hovers on some HTML element, some function or method needs to be triggered when any event takes place. So how we can do something like that with the help of Vue.js? We'll see that. Now we can do something like that with the help of this directive called ViewOn. So now let's just get onto our code editor and see how we can use this ViewOn for handling the events in our Vue.js app. So this is our Vue.js app, and over here you can see we have this hello, and we are taking this name from our data which is defined over here. Now let's say what we want to do. We want to define a button over here, and we want to change this name whenever the button is clicked. So let's just create our button. So I'll create this button tag, and I'll call it change name. If I save this, I'll be able to see this button over here, but currently nothing is happening. Now I want to attach an event handler to it. So I can do that with the help of this ViewOn directive, and I can put the name of the event. So we want click event to be triggered. So after click, we want to change the name of this name defined over here to, let's say, Superman. If I save this, I'll come over here. Now, when I click on the button, you can see the name has been changed. So this is how you can attach event to your HTML element in Vue.js. Now, there is one shortened way of doing this also. So instead of putting this ViewOn directive, you can just put @ and Vue will be able to understand that whatever event is written after @, it needs to do this whenever that event will take place in that particular element. So I just save this, and it's still working same. This is how we can handle events. Now there is one more way. Let's say if you want to call something more complex method whenever you are doing or performing some event. Let's just understand about this by creating a counter app. So let's create a counter app. Let me add a comment over here that will be able to differentiate our code. This is our counter app, and for this counter app, I'll be having an h2 over here. And inside this h2 tag, I will have a value called count, and I'll define that value in my data. And initially the count should be 0. And I'll be having two buttons, one for increment, one for decrement. And I'll be having button number 1. I'll call it add. And I'll be having @click for this button. And similar thing I would like to do over here. Another button, and I'll call it sub. And I want the count to be increased whenever this button gets clicked. So it will be count is equal to plus is equal to 1. And similar thing we'll do over here, but we'll have minus is equal to. So what we are seeing over here, whenever click event takes in this button, you need to increase the value of count, and over here you need to decrease the value of count. So let's just see it in action. Yes, our counter is working fine. But let's say we don't want to define this over here. So what we can do, we can define a new method over here called methods. And this methods will help us to define certain methods that we want to attach to an event in our template. So instead of doing this directly over here, we can define them over here, because we might need to compute or perform certain advanced computations, which we cannot write in inline logic like this. So what we can do for that? So inside this method, we can define our methods. I'll define my first method, increment. And this increment method, what it will do, it will take the value of count. You can take the value of count like this dot count and it will increase it. So it will do plus is equal to 1 over here. And similarly, we'll have something called decrement. And this will do similar thing, but will decrease the value. Now, instead of using these, I can put these methods which I have defined over here in the place of changing the value of count from inline itself. And now if I see, our counter is still working. And now as we have this, we can put some values which we want over here, and we can increase the value of count with the help of those values. So let's say now we won't be increasing it by 1, we'll be increasing it by whatever num is passed over here. So we can put num over here, and similar thing I can do over here as well as over here. So now we can pass the dynamic values from the methods themselves, and then we will increase the value of count by that value. So over here, if I can see, I'm increasing by 2 and also decreasing it by 2. So that is it, how we can handle events. Now in our next video, we will see how we can do conditional rendering in our Vue app. Hope you have liked the video. See you in next video.